Game development can be tough, especially if you have no experience in coding. But what if I told you it can also be fun? Learning becomes exciting when you are developing games. Today, I'll show you how easy it is to develop a game without any coding experience. By the end of this video, you will have built your own beginner level multiplayer game, but there's a catch. You will have to develop the game alongside with me. Remember, practice is what makes you a pro. And here's what something fun. Your assignment is to create the same game but with different graphics and UI. Share it with me and I will review it in the next video. For this tutorial, we will use Construct 3, a no-code game engine perfect for beginners. So let's jump in. Before we dive into development, let's understand a few key multiplayer concepts. Don't worry, I'll keep it simple. If you still have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on my Discord server. Imagine you are at chess tournament. The first thing you do is register your name. The tournament organizer then matches you with another player and you both compete. The match ends with one of the three outcomes: win, lose, or tie. Now, let's say you want to play with a specific friend. You ask the organizer to match you up, and the result will still be one of those three outcomes. Construct 3 multiplayer system works similarly. It uses a signaling server which you can think of as the game organizer. Here's how it works. You register with the signaling server. The server finds an opponent for you and places both of you in a room. Inside this room, you communicate directly and play the game. Once the match is over, the outcome is declared. I hope that made sense. Before we start building, let's talk about Tic Tac Toe. It's a simple game I used to play back in school. The game uses a 3 by 3 grid, two players, one placing X and the other placing O's. The goal is to place three of your symbols in a single row, horizontally, vertically, or diagonally, while blocking your opponents from doing the same. For example, if you place an X in the top left corner and your opponent places an X in the top right corner, your move could be placing an X in the middle left square. Your opponent then might place an O in the bottom left to block you. It's a game strategy. Block your opponent while trying to complete your row. Now that you understand the game logic, let's start the development. Our game will have 5 screens. Menu screen with start and exit buttons, host or join screen with options to host or join a game, matchmaking screen connects players via the signaling server, game screen, the 3 by 3 grid where the game happens, and finally the game over screen displays the result whether it's win, lose, or tie. We'll develop each screen step by step. It's easier than it's look. Just follow my lead. Yeah, sorry, I muted it again. So this is the first time I'm doing, so I'm little confused. All right, so you can get the source code like in the website. I showed it you just a moment ago. All right, so let's start the development. I'll create a new project in Construct 3. Let's name it as Tic Tac Toe. 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 So in the layout one, I'm going to resize it to the project size. Okay, so the first layout we'll call it as menu. So this is where we'll log into the game. We'll log into signaling server and we will play the game. So let's add the background. I'll create a sprite. Okay, I'll position it here. Resize it little bit. So I'll center it. So it's 1280 by 2. Okay, so we'll set the layout to BG. Alright, so now I have the home screen with the play button. So if I click the play button, it will go to the next screen, right? And also we need a text box so wherein I can log into the signaling server. Then we'll go to the next screen. So I'll create a text input. Okay, so this is where I will enter my name. So username or any fake name also it's fine, right? So I click play, then I will go to the next screen. So this is here it is a the play button is not actually a button, it is part of the background, right? So I need a one more layer so that I can use it as a button. So I'll create one more sprite, color it something. I'll put it like this. Okay, so when I click on this layer, so it will log into signaling server, then it will take me to the next screen. So let's add the events. Let's add one more object called touch. So when I touch the object, sprite 2, let's rename it to button or something. Okay, when I touch the button, so it will check if I entered any text here. If I entered any text, then it will log me to the signaling server. Okay, so let's add sub event. The first value will be length of text input dot text. Let's put the size. Let's have the size at least for 4 characters. Okay, so if that happens, then I will add the multiplayer object here. Now let's click the multiplayer. So here first we need to connect to the signaling server. Once I connected to the signaling server, then I will log in. So on connected. So once I connect, I will get this trigger, this event. So I will select this when connected to signaling server. Login. So the alias should be text input dot text. So let's log something so that we know we are doing properly. Console.log. connected to the signaling server. So now let's log one more thing on logged in. Logged in. Okay, so let's check this now if it is working properly or not. Okay, let's enter my name. I will enter my name and I'll click the play button. So it says connected to the signaling server and it has logged me in. Okay, great. So this is done. So once I log in, I'll have to go to the next screen so that I can either host a game or I can join an existing game. So before that, let's hide this one so that it will look like normal button like this. And also let's add a placeholder here. Enter your name. Okay. All right. So the next, so we are done with the menu screen. So now we'll have to do the next screen, which is room screen, where I can host or join a game. Okay, let's duplicate this, create a room, create a event sheet for the same. Okay, so let's remove all these items. Let's create one more sprite. Okay, so I made these images with some AI tool. So they're not perfect, but I think this is sufficient for the tutorial. Okay, so same thing, we'll need to add these buttons. Okay, so if I click the first button, it will take me to matchmaking screen where I can wait for an opponent. If I click the join game, it will take me to a screen where I can, see all the rooms and join one of them. But we don't know which one is which, right? So we are using the same sprite. So what we'll do is we'll create a variable. Let's call it as type. So this one is host, and let's call this as peer. Okay, same logic. So if I touch object button, and if the button is host, so we'll go to the next screen, and if the button is peer, we'll go to another screen. So we'll see that what happens next. Let me save this one. All right, so I hope so far it's clear. uh, no confusion, right? So if you have any questions or confusion, you can let me know in the chat. All right, so the next, let's create the next screen first. Okay, so Same procedure. Let's create one more sprite. Okay, so I'll choose one background, reposition it, set the size to 80 and 80. Okay, so here we'll show like who are the players matched up, and once they are matched up, we'll go to the next screen, which is the game screen. Okay, so here I'll add a text object, change the color, and I want to center it so that I can position it properly. I'll call it as waiting for opponent. Okay, so here the text is not clear because of the background light. So let's add one layer called overlay. So here remove the transparency, set the background color to black, and set the opacity to 30. Okay, so we'll have one layers so that the text will be more visible. Okay, let's create one more uh, text here. So we'll say uh, layer 1 versus player 2. Okay, so when I reach this screen, it will show the names of player 1 and player 2. So we'll see that how to do. So before that, let's create an event sheet and link that with this one. Okay, all right. So now we are back to room screen, where if I click this one, it will take me to a matchmaking screen. Okay, so here once we log in, let's go to a matchmaking. Sorry, not matchmaking, to the room screen. So once I am in the room screen, if I'm hosting, I need to create a room where we can use auto join. So here we need to set the name of the game, instance, and the room name. Okay, so these we can control with the variables. So for example, I want to create a room name, game name. Okay, game name maybe Shepherd Games, Tic Tic Tac Toe, something like this. And this will be constant, so this won't change. So I'll set this to constant. And we also need an instance name. Again, this I will set it to constant. Simply I'll link it here. So room name we can give anything, but for now by default I want to set the room name to multiplayer date my id. Okay, so I will join the room with my own multiplayer id. So once I join, okay, on joined room, I will go to the next screen, matchmaking screen. Okay, let's see how it works. So let's go to menu. So if I click play, it should go to the next screen. It is working. And then I will click host game. Okay, fine, right? So far so good. So we are in the matchmaking screen. So here it will show my name first. Then when the other player has joined, so it will automatically take me to the room screen. Okay, so this is about host. We'll have to do the same for the the opponent as well. So for that, we need let's create one more room called join. I'll simply duplicate this one. Okay, and we link it. So here in join, so I will show the list of all the rooms available. So I can choose one of the room and join the room. Okay, so I'll create a list first. So where in the list, I will select list box. Okay, something like this. I can put it here. So here we'll see all the list of the rooms. Okay, I'll delete these. And also let's add two buttons. One to join the room, the other one to take me back to home. Okay, this is join and this is menu or home. Let's call it as home. All right. So let's look at the flow again. Sorry. So let's look at the flow again. So here, first I will log into the screen. Then it will take me to the room screen where I can host or join a game. If I host, it will take me to the matchmaking screen where it will show the players here. Okay. And if I join the room, so it will take me to the join screen where I will get all the list of rooms here, and you can join in one of them. So which will take me to the matchmaking screen again. All right. Okay. So now in the peer, uh, when I click peer, it should take me to the join screen. So in the join screen, we are going to fetch all the list of items where we can show the list of rooms, and when I click one of the room and click join, it will take me to the game screen. Okay, so on start of layout, what we'll do is we'll request the room list. Okay, so multiplayer, I'm sorry, multiplayer request game instance list, and here you have to enter the game name. Sorry, this one, request room list, and you will have to add the game name and the instance name, and which are available. Okay, so once you get this list, okay, on game room list, you will have to add that to this list, so that you can see all the rooms there and you can select one and you can go to the game. So let's create a sub event, add a loop. So here I will start the loop from 0. Multiplayer dot list room count -1. Okay, so this is what we'll do. And once we get the list, we'll put it in the list. So here add item. The add item will add multiplayer dot room list room count of loop index. So this one, let me type again. Room dot list multiplier dot list room count. Sorry, room name of loop index. Okay, let's check it now. I want to create a remote preview so that I can put it in two browsers and test it. Okay, so on the left side, we'll see the host, and on the left side, on the right side, we'll see the join room here. So if I click host, it will take me to this screen, and if I click join, it will take me to this screen. And there is a small text here. I'm not sure if it is visible to you. Okay, so let's see if I can zoom in. It's not zooming in. Okay, so here is a small text which shows the room name. If I click join, it has to go to the room. So let's do that. So on button clicked, and the button is so compare text. So the button should be join. So here we have two buttons, right? Join and home. So when I click join, it should take me to uh, the matchmaking screen. So here I will have to log in. So here I will have to find the room first, and now we are doing the room from the list, right? So we'll have to select the list, and you can um, you know join them to the room and take them to the matchmaking screen. Okay, so join room, game name, instance name, and the room name would be list dot selected text. All right, so let's reload and see how it works. Okay, host game, so it is working as expected, and we'll go to join game, and there is a text here. If I click join, um, okay, I'm sorry, one moment. On join room, it has to take me to matchmaking. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, join game and select the list. Okay, great. So it's working fine now. Now the next object is to show the player names here and take them to the game screen. So I'll create two more objects. One is host name, the other one is peer name. Okay, so when I go to the matchmaking screen, okay, so on start of layout, let I'll add my own name. So there are two people here, one is host and the other one is the peer, right? So what I will do is, if I'm host, I will add my name to host. So here you can get multiplayer dot my alias. So this is how you can get the name. And if I'm not host, I will put my name to peer name. Okay, and we'll have to set the text to these two. So I'll create one more a variable here. So I'll call it as type. Okay, so this one is player one. Okay, player two. So in the text, I will set. I'll check the instance variable type as player one and the another type as player two. So here I will set the text to host name and this one will be peer name. Okay. Okay, so I'm setting the host name and peer name for the respective people, but we are not setting the opponent's name. Okay, so here the host name will be multiplayer dot my alias because I'm the host, and here the other guy will be the peer alias. So here peer name, and here the host name will be multiplayer dot host alias. All right, so let's see, reload. Okay, let's log in again. I'll host the game on the left side. So you can see my name here and join game. Let's select the room, join. Okay, so both side on the right side it is showing, but on the left side is not showing. So let's modify it a bit. So here on the host, it will not know until we trigger on peer connected. So this one, because the peer will be joining the room later, right? So until we trigger this one, the host will not know. Okay, now we'll set the peer name here. But when the peer has joined the room, the host is already in the room, so they will know the name of the host. Okay, so I hope it makes sense. Let's reload and see. Okay, so left side is working fine, right side it again showing different name. Um, so unconnected, peer name is correct. Player 2, player 1, this is correct. Okay, let's add this condition and see what happens. Okay, now it is working fine, right? So I had to add this condition. If it the peer connects condition is only for the host. Okay, now it is showing names on both sides. Now we need to take them to the game screen. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so let's create a room screen first. Let's duplicate this, set it as name, game, sorry. So this will be game, and we'll link the event sheets. Again, we'll delete all this thing. So here we need to add the grid, tic tac toe grid, and we'll set um, the x and zeros, and we'll set up the program. So let's add the sprite. Okay, so this is the grid. Okay, so let's put this here, and let's remove the background. I will set the color as the background. Wait, so 29 1953. 1953. I think this is fine. As for tutorial, this would be sufficient. Okay, so this is done. So we are going to place x and y, x and zeros here. Okay, let's add a new object again. So the first frame I would like to have as blank. The second frame I want to have as x, and the third frame I want to have it as O. Okay, remove the speed. So set it to 0, and let's see. Let's set the size first. Okay, so it is fitting properly, right? So this is fine. So I will call it as X and O's. Okay, fine. Okay, now it looks like a normal grid with blanks, and when I click, it will set X and zeros. All right, so it will go to matchmaking. Sorry. So it will go to the matchmaking screen, and from here, it takes me to the game screen. So we need to add that code. So wait a second. Let's do one thing. Let's add a blank event, and we'll wait for maybe 2 seconds, and then we'll go to the game screen. Okay, let's test it now. Oops, wait. Okay, so on peer connected, we're going to take them to the game. So let's reload again. Okay, this is fine, right? Working as expected. So in the room screen, let me check if I can add some CSS quickly so that the text can look little bigger. I think it should be font size 20 or something. Let me check. Okay. Let's ignore that. Okay, now when I go to game screen, either host or the peer can, sorry, they will take turns and put their X and O's, and either of them can win or go to tie, or so nothing happens, like it will go to tie. So now let's create few variables. I'll call first one as turn. So the turn is one, it is host. If the turn is two, it is peer. Okay, so this thing will be handled from the host side. So on the startup layout, if I'm host, I'll set the turn to either one or two. Okay, and I will send this message to the peer as well. So I'll go to multiplayer plugin, select broadcast. From should be blank so that it will go to everyone. Uh, Tag should be turn, and the message is turn variable. So it won't accept integers, so we will have to change it to string. Okay, on the game side, let's put the text here. So I'll put the text here. It will say your turn or opponent turn. So if it is my turn, it will say your turn, or if it is the opponent turn, it will say it as opponent turn. So if the turn is one and I am host, so we'll set the text to your turn. Okay, let's do one thing. If I'm host and if it is turn equal to one, it will say your turn. If the turn is two, it will say opponent's turn. So and if it is not host, it's vice versa. So here the host is sending a message, right? So now we'll have to receive the message and set the turn for the peer. On peer message as turn, so we are sending the tag here, setting the tag as turn. Same thing, we'll have to set the same tag here so that it knows this it's the same message. All right, so here set the value to turn. So this should be int of multiplayer dot message. All right, so let's see. Let's reload, and it has to sync on both sides. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so it is saying it is post turn, so it is saying your turn and the opponent's turn. I mean, for the peer, it is showing as opponent turn, so which is correct. All right, so now when it is my turn, and if I click any of these boxes, it should allow me to set a frame over there. So if I am host, it will set the frame to 1, and if I am peer, it will set the frame to 0. Okay, let's do that. So if I am host and if it is my turn, sorry, it's touch object. So on touched object X and O, set the frame to 1. Similarly, if I set this for the peer, if the turn is 2, this has to be 2. So once this is done, I'll have to set the turn to the next turn. So here if turn is 1, oh wait, so automatically this will be turned to the next, right? So here it should be 2 and here it should be 1. So when I touch XO, which is already turn 1, it will set to turn 2. And if I click XO on the peer side, it is already turn 2, so it will set to turn 1. Okay, so I will broadcast the message again here on the peer side also. So the difference is on peer side we don't broadcast, we'll send it as a message. So if I leave the peer ID to blank, it will go to the host. Okay, let's see now. Let's reload, check it. Sorry, I have this habit of keep checking so that sometimes if it stops, I will know. Okay, fine. So host game, then this will be join game. I'll click the room. Okay, so it says your turn. Here, if I click, it should not work. Great. Here, if I click, it should work. Okay. And once I click it, it should not work. So here now again, I can click it. Okay, great. So this is working fine. We need to sync it on the both sides. We'll see how to do it now. So here, when I click it, I'm already sending the turn, right? Uh, Along with this information, I will also send Oh wait. So here we have this Xos images, right? So let's create one instant variable. I'll call it as ID. So each one will have its own ID. This one will be 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is 5. This one is 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I'll send the information now. So this one will be, one moment. Uh, okay, okay, sorry about that. So this one will be xo.id, and this one will be xo xo.frame frame. Actually, I can directly set the frame as 1 here. Similarly, even here we'll set the same. So this one will be frame 2. So here we are sending the message as the first one is the turn ID, second is XOID joined by underscore. So when I receive this message, we are going to split this into three parts. So the first one index is 0, second one index is 1, third one index is 2. So it will split like an array. So here, when we receive this message, let's use something called token net. Here we'll set the multiplier message. The index number will be 0 and the turn is int, right? I mean the number. So we'll set it to number. And we need to identify the XO. Again here, token net multiplier dot message comma 1. So the index 1, and we'll set the XO values frame. This will be 2. Okay, let's reload. Okay, so let's log in again. So we'll host the game, we'll join the game, join the room. Okay. It is not syncing. One moment. So 0, 1, 2. Okay, maybe we'll have to put this as hint. Okay, let's reload again. Okay, we'll host the game. Again, join the game. Okay, great. So if I click here, it is showing here, right? So if I click here, it is replacing. So we need to change that. Okay, great. It is syncing perfectly on the both sides. So this is done. So here we'll add one more condition. When I click Xos and Expo frame is 0, that particular frame should be 0, else it won't work. Okay, log in again, post game. All right, join game. All right, so now if I click here, it won't work. I should click somewhere else. Same here. Okay, great. So now we filled the grid, but it still says opponent's turn, your turn. So once we fill the grid, we have to take them to the game over screen and show the result. Or someone has to fill any of the rows or columns or diagonals to declare them as a winner. So let's create a game over screen. Okay, let's set it to game over. Again, let's delete these, add one more sprite. Okay, I'll select this one. Okay, and I will create a overlay here. So which will be opacity of 30. Okay, this is fine, right? So now let's add the text. Here it will say game over, and here we'll show the result. And also we'll give a button to go to home. Okay, I think we forgot to add this one here. What happens when I click home here? So this has to take me to the menu. Okay, so when I go back to menu, we need to do one thing. So let's on the startup layout, if I'm already connected, if I'm already connected, wait, if I'm already in the room, so I need to leave room, and if once I left the room, I need to disconnect. Otherwise, we will not be able to connect to the next room properly. Sorry, not disconnect from room, uh, disconnect from the server. So here, this should be disconnect from the room. Okay, it says leave the room on the signaling server, right? So this one. If I am already connected to the server but not in the room, simply let's disconnect from the server. Okay, so this is how it happens. So once I join a room, uh, maybe I want to, for some reason, I want to exit the game. So we'll have to make sure that they disconnect from the room and the signaling server. Else, they'll not be able to join another room unless you restart the game. Okay, so this will make sure that they will be disconnected. And once they click the button again, the login button again, they will be taken to the room screen. So the whole flow will continue. All right, so now once I fill the grid, I want to show it as game out and send it to the next screen, which is game out screen. So here I will create one more variable called result. I will set the result here and send it to the next screen. All right, so let's create one function. I'll call it as check game over. So let's add a parameter. I'll call it as cells field. What does it mean is, so we have nine cells here, right? So if the cell is not of frame zero, so we are going to increment the count, and if the count is nine, we'll consider it as a game over. So for that, we'll do for each xo, if xo frame is not equal to 0, we'll set the cells field to 1. I mean, we'll add it as 1 once the loop is done. If the cells field is 9, we'll set the result as tie, okay, and we'll take them to the game over screen. And in the game over screen, on start of layout, so this one will be result. So on start of layout, set the text, sorry, so type result, and the set text to be result. Okay, so again, I'll repeat. So here we are checking the game over, if it is game over when all the cells are filled. So how will we know that all the cells are filled? So here we will check if each XO frame is not equal to 0, whether it is either 2 or 1. And if that is the case, it will keep incrementing the cells field. And if it is 9, then it will consider it as a game over, set the result to tie, take me to game over screen, and we are setting that result here. Okay, so let's add the function here. So once I click this one, yeah. So once I click this one, I will immediately check the game over, and even here I'll do the same. Once I receive the message from the opponent that they have set it to different frame, we'll check the game over. So let's reload. Okay, so it's okay. It said game over here, but it did not set the game over here. So let's check the issue. All right, so I think we need one more variable called game over. So at the start of the layout, this will be default false, and if the cells field is 9, then we'll set the game over to true. Okay, so uh, this block should work only if the game is still continuing, which means the game over is false. Okay, something like this. Okay, let's try it again. So this is not working for me. So once I click it, let's put it here. So for the opponent it is working, but for the current player it's not working. I just made a slight change. It should work now. Okay, great. So it works on the both sides now. Okay, so earlier it was like looping, it was checking for every tick. So I moved it to on touch. So once I touch it, set the frame, then I'm checking for the game over. Okay, so this is done. Now the next step would be we'll have to check if someone has won. So for that, what we can do is, so here we need to check all the rows, all the columns, and all the diagonals. So we can do the loop, but I want to keep it simple, even though it's a little bit lengthy program. I would like to keep it simple so that people can understand. So this will be rows, and the first row. So we are going to check each row now. So the first row, um, so expose the instant ID is 1. So what we need to do is we need two more items here, two more variables, P1 and P2. So if the P1 and P2 in any row, column or diagonal reaches to 3, okay, so we'll consider them as a winner. So the first one is, let's divide this one. So if the ID is 1, and if the ID is 1 and its frame is 1, we're going to add to P1, and if the frame is 2, we'll add to P2. Similarly, we'll do for each row, I mean each cell. So this is row 1. Similarly, we'll do the same for row 2. So row 2 starts with a 4, 5, and 6. Similarly with row 3. So row 3 starts with 7, 8, 9. Okay, let's check the rows first. If everything works, then we'll apply the same logic for columns and diagonals. Oh, wait. Okay, so let's finish first row. Okay. So, sorry. So we need to add one more item here. So if P1 is equal to 3, we'll set the result as host name wins. If P2 is 3, we'll set the peer name wins and set this to game over. And if the game is over, we'll go to the game over screen. Okay, right? So this is fine. So I'll add one more thing. If it is not game over, okay, I will explain again. Okay, so here we're checking the rows. So once either of the players got 3, we'll set it as we'll set the result as respective player wins, and we'll set the game out as true. And if it is not game over, we'll reset the P1 and P2 count so that it will again check for the next rows. Okay, let's copy paste this here. Let's copy paste again here. All right, so now let's reload and see. Okay, so we just okay, great. So it reached to game on screen, but it is showing the wrong name. So this should be host wins. If it is 2, it is adding to P2, correct? Same here, correct? So if it is P2, it should say that the peer wins, right? It is showing as host wins. So, okay, let's check again. Okay, so for host, it is showing fine. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's keep working. We'll check that later. So rows is done. I'll copy paste everything now. So host, now it's columns. So this will be column 1. So the column IDs are 1, 4, 5, the first column. 147, sorry. 147. Then the second row columns are 2, 5, 8. So this should be column 2. And the last one is 3, 6, 9. Okay, so we'll do the same for diagonals. So diagonals we have only two, right? So we need only two items here. Okay, so the first diagonal is 1, 5, 9. So this should be 5, this should be 9, and this should be 3, again 5, 7. Okay, so let's reload again. So it should work. The win logic should work now, like for any column. Oh, let's add one more item here. So if the button is pressed, I mean button is clicked, go to menu so that we don't need to reload. Come back to construct 3 again. We can um reload here itself. Okay, great. Diagonal worked. Let's check a column. Okay, column also works, but it is showing the wrong name. Why it is showing wrong name? So here we have post name, peer name, which is correct. On green screen, we are setting it to result, which is correct. Mm, So if P2 is 3, it says to peer name. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's log the peer and host names first, so that we'll know whether we're doing it right or wrong. Okay, so whenever I check the game over, it is also logging peer name and host name. So let's reload now. Okay, host name correct, peer name is correct. Same host name is correct, peer name is correct. But why it is showing peer name? So here we are setting the result to peer name wins. Am I setting it to wrong? Like if it is one animation frame one, we're adding to one. If it is two, we're adding to two. And if these are three, same thing. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's add the columns here into this game or thing. So only if it is not game over, then it will go to the next one. Similarly, here also, um, so column one, two, three. Okay, so if it is not game over, then it will go to the next screen. Okay, one moment, let me undo. I think I messed it up. Okay, row one, row two, row three, column one, column two, column three. Diagonal one, diagonal two. So we are setting it to peer. Why it is changing to host? There should be some silly mistake. So peer name is one. Yeah, let's log it this one. Okay, let's check now. Sometimes debugging can be very time taking. Oh, okay. Now it is working. I don't know what happened. So, all right. So let's check other items, other columns, um, other diagonal also, just to be safe that it is working fine. Okay, great. So it is working fine. Right, so yeah, that's all. We covered everything. So I'll just recap. So first, we have created the menu screen where we'll log in here. So we are first disconnecting the player from the signaling server so that to be sure that they did not log in, and which will be they will be available for the next game. And once they click the button, we are connecting them to signaling server. Then we are logging in with their name and we are taking them to the room. And in the room, we have two options, either to host or join game. When I host the game, I am creating a room with my own ID. And if I am peer, I am joining a room. We'll select the list of rooms and we'll go to the room. And if I connected to signaling server, we'll directly go to matchmaking screen. This is for the host. And for the peer, they will go to the join room where we'll get the list of rooms here. They will select one room and then they will go to the matchmaking screen. Here they will see both the names and after a second they will be taken to the game. Here they will play the game and this is the win logic. It will either check if it is a win for host or for peer, or if it is a tie. And in either cases, it will take me to the game over screen, which shows the result. And if I click the home button, it will take me back to the home screen. All right, so that's all. I hope it's clear for you, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if it is helpful, you can support me with subscription. And if you have any questions, of course, you can reach out to me later in my Discord server, which is in the description. And if you want to see more tutorials, you can suggest me which kind of game you want me to develop. So when I have time, I will set up a live stream. So going forward, I would like to do more live streams. So I thought we can have real time chat. We can be more interactive, and maybe I can clarify your doubts in the call itself. Um, and Yeah, if you are interested, you can develop this game by yourself or watching the video, and you can send me your results to contact at the rate of shepherd.games email. Put a subject as tic tac toe YouTube tutorial or something, so that I will know that this is related to this video, and I can check it in the I can make a video like checking your games, and if you are doing it right, and if right, then we can show it to the community like how good you have made the game, right? So all right, so that's all. So we're going to stop here, and we'll connect again later. You have a nice day.